Peace, Oakland. What's up, y'all? Got a quick video to show you. Waiting for my guest to join me. So while I wait for her, I guess I'll wait for people to trickle in here. This ain't gonna be long. It's too nice outside. I gotta get back outside. I see them kids walking by, the children walking by my window wearing hoodies and full poo sashes over their face. Don't the children get hot, man? It's such a weird style. You would think they would want to enjoy the breeze or something. I don't know. Open my own window up here real quick. All right. I'm going to give Michelle a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to have to just get it in. To my first person who joined me. Welcome. You're the chosen one, the chosen one. All right, I'm going to give it one more minute. But while I'm waiting, did you notice that after all of that talking about how the sales tax would stop us from having to shut down police and fire, we're shut down anyway? Ain't that something? Really interesting. I thought the whole point of the sales tax was so that we wouldn't have to shut down police and fire stations. That's what was advertised to us. And as usual, we got played. We got played, Oakland. All right. Well, I don't know where Michelle is, so hopefully she would join. This video came from her, so she's already seen it. That's why I wanted her to be my guest today. But since I don't see her here, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to give it one more minute for you lonely two people who are waiting. Say hi to each other. Hello, everyone. Peace, y'all. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. All right. Come on, Michelle. You get on over here. That's right. Like power, brother. We got a good show for you today. You're going to like this one. This is a real one. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on up. Let's get it in.
The causal root of why black people are suffering the way they are. The causal root is a political murderer. We found a political murderer in the streets. This political murderer is a serial killer. And we see all the dead bodies of poverty, crime, foreclosure, illiteracy, an epidemic of commercial buildings and churches being taken because of water drainage fees, illegal municipal bonds. We see that these are nothing but dead bodies. That this one serial killer, this one political murderer is the one who we can all handcuff today with your help. Now you would ask me, who is that political murderer?
I'm going to run it back for those of you who just joined. I'm going to let it play once. I'm going to play it again while I wait for Michelle.
His name is election fraud. He uses the weapon of people who were not elected by us, but selected. He uses this weapon of people that we never voted in, but they were cheated in. He uses this weapon to cause this continuum of crises in our communities. People that don't represent us because they were never voted in by us. They mismanage our resources, they misappropriate our funds, and they do it because they were never elected by us. And we're asking you today, would you help stop our suffering? We're asking you today, would you please help stop all of our pain? We're asking you today, would you help your largest shareholders, your single largest voting bloc, help handcuff this criminal and throw away the key? That's why we're here today. We're asking for your help. Thank you so much.
Wow. All right, we're going to run it back for those who didn't see the beginning. And then I'm going to talk about it real quick. I was hoping to have my conversation guest, and we're going to wait for
her. Are suffering the way they are. The causal root is a political murderer. we found a political murderer in the streets. This political murderer is a serial killer. And we see all the dead bodies of poverty, crime, foreclosure, illiteracy, an epidemic of commercial buildings and churches being taken because of water drainage fees, illegal municipal bonds. We see that these are nothing but dead bodies. That this one serial killer, this one political murderer, is the one who we can all handcuff today with your help. Now you would ask me, who is that political murderer? His name is election fraud. He uses the weapon of people who were not elected by us, but selected. He uses this weapon of people that we never voted in, but they were cheated in. He uses this weapon to cause this continuum of crises in our communities. People that don't represent us because they were never voted in by us. They mismanage our resources, they misappropriate our funds, and they do it because they were never elected by us. And we're asking you today, would you help stop our suffering? We're asking you today, would you please help stop all of our pain? We're asking you today, would you help your largest shareholders, your single largest voting bloc, help handcuff this criminal and throw away the key? That's why we're here today. We're asking for your help. Thank you so much.
So this video, perfect timing. Yes, let's go. Michelle, I just played the video. You already saw it. So you can just pretend you watched it with us. Can you hear me? I can't hear you yet. Now you got to go check your volume.
There we
Yep,
go. There
I
we
can
go.
hear you. So the first thing when you sent that to me, I thought about was, wow, this sounds like Oakland, California. And I'm going to say a few words first. But first, thank you for coming. Welcome. Thank you for sending me that video. We just found out, well, we've been new if you've been following me, if you've been paying attention. But Ching Thao did not file on time. That's for starters. She should have never been on the ballot. The city illegally covered it up. More importantly, her union loyalists covered it up. They did all sorts of illegal things. We're not going to talk about that. We did the last episode. Then she wins by 677 votes in an election where 3,093 votes were disqualified due to voter error. The
Mhm.
registrar of voters had sole discretion to create a duplicate ballot in the instance where the voter's intention was clear, but there was a mistake made. The registrar made 0 duplicate ballots. There was a complete dismissal. The majority, the supermajority, 80% plus of these votes came from Black and brown and poor working class communities, including our white folks, Latinos, and everybody, right? Poor working people. We can drop the color thing, although this is about us because they
Mhm.
like to use Black people as puppets and stray dogs and, pet rocks, as you like to say. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's just that's the first thing I thought about. What about you?
Well, the when I saw the video, of course, it just resonated with me because I also thought I finally heard the answer because I always have been asking like why do we
Mm,
continue in a sense to we set out to have different candidates, but yet we can never seem to get across that bridge. In particular, candidates that have born and raised here, and of course that's not everything, but we don't get funding, we don't get any support, so you can't seem to make a dent in how these campaigns are run to even get the elevation to actually be an active candidate that people know. The other was in this whole scene situation with Shang Tao. It was so relevant because I think we can all say now we have somebody that was selected, not elected. And so,
absolutely. By
and so
very powerful people. Look at her lawyer, Jeffrey Tsai.
yeah,
Ching Tao ain't got no money. Her man
yeah,
Andre got a public defender. Like, what's going on here? Who's paying for this guy?
And in addition, it always bothered me because I had just finished taking stats. I had just when that election, I had to take a
Mm-hmm.
stat class to finish my degree. And so even the rounds, how they were dropping, it just statistically were not the probability of those last few rounds almost coming out the same, like the allocation of those rounds to the votes to Shang and then the votes to Lauren, the allocations of them perfectly almost being some just 50, the 51%, 51.5. It just isn't statistically possible to do that if we were actually counting votes. But now we find out, okay, we're not counting anything. We're just turning a knob and turning an algorithm on. So that when you have an algorithm, there's no differentiation. So of course they can go and tell Mr. Taylor, hey, you can have no ability to catch up because the system is allocating the votes by this particular proportionment. And you can't catch up when the system has already decided how it's going to split the vote. In addition, the other was that there were 10 candidates in that election. And I don't know if you
Yep.
covered
We're supposed to have 10 choices, but we only had
that.
5
Right. And he
because they
decided,
knew there was a lot of good. They knew there were a lot of heavyweights. This is one of the most interesting elections where you had a lot of people who could garner votes, even though I got 3,000 plus votes for city council and over 1,500 for mayor. That makes sense? Don't make sense to me.
no, no, not at all. And
Yeah, yeah.
and also going back, so
In one
we have,
district, in one district, I got 3,000. But
yeah,
there's more. I'm going to share something with you. This is something I have not talked about on camera yet, but I want to hit your thoughts on this.
okay.
So I like to show receipts here. This is called, if you notice, this is an advisory, June 3rd, 2022. When was our election?
What was it? November?
2022 November.
Uh-huh.
What voting machines do we use?
We used Dominion.
Okay, so summary. This advisor advised vulnerabilities affecting versions of the Dominion voting system. Democracy Suite ImageCast X, which is an in-person voting system, allowed voters to mark their ballot. ImageCast X can be configured to allow a voter to produce a paper record or to vote electronically. While these vulnerabilities present risk to be mitigated as soon as possible, CISA has no evidence that these vulnerabilities have been exploited in any election. Exploitation of these vulnerabilities would require physical access to individual ImageCast devices, access to the election management system, or the ability to modify files before they are uploaded to ImageCast X devices. Jurisdictions can prevent and or delete the exploitation of these vulnerabilities by diligently applying the mitigations recommended in this advisory, including technical, physical, and operational controls that limit unauthorized access or manipulation of voting systems. Many of these mitigations are already typically standard practice in jurisdictions where these devices are in use and can be enhanced to further guard against exploitation of these vulnerabilities. Remember, Tim Dupuy is also our IT specialist and meets all of these
Right.
criteria as an individual. Okay, it goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different security flaws. 9. Our registrar of voters got this. This is America's Cyber Defense Agency, the National Coordination for Critical Infrastructure, Security, and Resilience. When I asked him to Dupuy how he made these patches, he told me, he wasn't even aware of this, according to him. And I'm sure he'll lie now, 3 years later,
Oh,
but I got it. But the point is, we know that the ability existed right here. This is the U.S. government telling us there are 9 different ways that someone who meet these qualifications and have this level of access can fix an election. Then we have algorithmic idiosyncrasies that are not logical or not mathematically possible on multiple occasions. Then you have a person who shouldn't have been in the ballot in the first place who was covered up. And then, this shit is so crazy. And I'm sorry, if you're not paying attention here, and like nobody would challenge me on any of this, but they want to memory hold it and they want to make it go away. But did you know about what I just showed you? Or anyone who's watching, leave a comment. Did you know about what I just showed you there? Sorry, Michelle, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. I didn't know about that in particular, but I revisited a couple of things because I was looking for the public statement that Dominion had made when at one point Tim Dupuy had commented that the mix up, because this election also had the trifecta of adjudicating, remember, the school board race that
which
was
was
actually incorrect.
overturned. Which was
Right. So
overturned.
so so in that particular, and that race really was a watershed moment because it had the capability of shutting down ranked choice nationwide, because we really had in real time a situation where it didn't work. And then and furthermore, when they went and they looked at the results, it appears that the results were almost inverse. But I looked at an article today from that particular situation, and actually the error that was done, because they say other cities just move whatever this lever to the left, but in this case, when a person does the when a someone was ranking someone first, they left. So, and let's say that let's say they left
I
it
got it.
blank.
I got it up right now. I got an article up. I don't know if you can see it, but if you look at our screen, the Wall Street Journal put out an article called "Oops, We Botched RCV. We Botched Ranked Choice Voting, January 6, 2023." That school board
Yeah,
winner from November. Sorry, he actually lost.
yeah.
Nearly two
And so,
months after November's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
okay, but just to boil it down, the big error was that if you didn't rank anyone in first place, it just threw those votes into a black hole. And so your first place votes were not ranked. Okay, and so you had this pot of votes sitting there that weren't actually ever counted. And so if you have that on that race, it's the same algorithm, the same settings. So, because he never says he didn't use the same settings, he just said it only
Oh
affected
no,
this.
they did. They did a recount of Oakland's mayoral race, and it did change slightly, but it wasn't enough to change the outcome. Because basically, it's the appropriate. If you apply Berkeley's charter versus Oakland's charter, you get a different result. Because, to your point you just mentioned, it's how you deal with when you skip a first place vote. So in
Mhm.
Berkeley's charter, if you skip the first place vote, your second place vote counts as your first place vote, and they shift
Right,
everything. And if in
right,
Oakland, they just say you just don't have it. And
right.
they
And
applied Berkeley's charter to Hutchinson's. They also applied Berkeley's charter to Oakland. So our charter was violated 6 ways from Sunday, as every election through the ranked choice voting. The systemic
now that's
violation
new.
of
Oh, sorry, but so the mayor's race was recounted. That's news to me. I did not know that.
they recounted it, and it changed by like a couple dozen votes. But it wasn't enough to
Oh,
overcome. It wasn't even 100 votes.
well, but I mean, but really at that point though, but when about
But do
you
we
have all
know
these,
that? But do we know that?
but not only that, but look at the votes that were no good. I mean, the votes that were thrown out. There was a
I mean,
huge,
we've done episodes on this before. I can put them up for people who haven't watched. But yes, if you look at the cast voter image, many of
yeah,
those votes thrown out had Lauren Taylor or myself as the first vote, and then
yeah.
Lauren second. You know how many? Do you know? Check this out. There were 10 candidates, and again, anybody
There were
who
10 candidates, but only
there were
five
10,
got.
5 were ranked, and check this out.
Yeah.
Out of 10 candidates, I got third place in number of total votes, period. Out of everybody
Mhm.
putting my name somewhere in the ballot. And somehow the
Uh-huh.
equal is only 1,000 something. The number, look, I don't like to
Now,
talk about what I can prove. What we can prove is that Sheng
right,
filed late and they covered it up. What we can prove is that 5 times more violence was disqualified than her point 0.5% margin of error. What we can
right.
prove is that they were supposed to do a manual recount and they just refused to do it. And city and our county board of supervisors just said, okay, I guess we told. It's like here's what happened: a county board of supervisors told Tim Dupuy do a manual recount. That's what led to the overturning of the school board election. But then when it came to the mayor election, Tim Dupuy was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And our county board of supervisors was like, okay, the equivalent is you're a parent and you tell your child it's time to go to bed. And they're like, no, I'm not going to do that. You're just like, okay. And you do
Yeah,
that the whole like childhood. What kind of child are you raising here?
yeah.
Right? Do
And
you
it
really
was
have any?
so it was, what is an America First vote that caught the error on that. the school board just by looking at. They were looking at the results as they were coming in, and they just saw that there were ballots and votes not being accounted for, and they were just because of the growing number of votes. I guess I have to look back in the article of what they called it, but simply, if, like you said, if you didn't do a first choice, your second choice is supposed to be classified as your first choice. The way that
Yeah.
they um, the way that they set the system, it was it didn't occur. In addition to that, Tim was trying to kind of put it off. He was having a really kind of nuanced, trying to say that, the algorithm and the Dominion and this and that, and then Dominion. And I was looking at that because that's how I came up on the article, because I recall Dominion they made a public statement to Tim saying that no, you manually changed the algorithm. He didn't use the algorithm that was given to him.
Look, Tim Dupuy is a criminal,
He
right?
didn't
And
use
we're gonna
the
no,
and
we don't. Well, we don't. Here's the thing. Here's the heart of the matter, because we got to wrap this up soon. It's been over
okay,
20 minutes, and I gotta go. But
okay,
the
no,
point, the point, the point is this, Michelle. It uses a closed source algorithm that is not proprietary to voters, and they're saying that we can't see it because it's some kind of state secret. You can't
right,
count votes in secret. You
no,
can't tell. You can't tell us. We're not going to tell you how to count the vote. Just trust us. But yet we
right.
can't count them really quick. We also need a lot more time to count them. It's just really it's really problematic. So, do you have any closing thoughts for the next minute or so
Well,
about this video?
the closing thought to button this up is, I often ask myself, how do those that lead and make these type of decisions, how do they do it and basically look themselves in the mirror or sleep at night? Because some of the decisions are just heartbreaking to the average resident. I mean, even the whole proposition of another parcel tax or what have you. And it's what this gentleman said. It's because they don't represent us, because they were never elected. They were selected not to represent us, but to represent the interests of those that put them in office. And nothing could be more clear just by the first. I want to have hope, but we're getting Nikki Bass's chief of staff for Barbara
The
Lee.
person who actually did the defund the police policy, and now they're
Right,
putting her.
right. The person that led all of those
Yeah.
tenant
Meet
led
the new
ballots.
meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah.
I'll close with my statements with this, Michelle. And thank you for sending me that video, and thank you for joining
Mhm.
today. And thank you everybody for tuning in who watch live. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff. This time we had another issue. A lot of votes came in with no postmark date. Something we had warned Tim Dupuy about, that we were concerned about the chain of custody and separation of ballots from the postmark and how not being able to track if these things were actually mailed before the deadline for an election, since they take so long to count.
Mhm.
You know, yes. Oh, the post office made a mistake, is what they told us. I don't have time to go find the email. The post
Sure.
office made a mistake and didn't timestamp thousands of ballots, but we counted them anyway, even though we got them after the election was over, because that's just what we're told to do. Every single time there's something weird or wacky going on with this election. We also went back to 5 choices when we should have had 10 again. I don't know if you noticed that. We only had 5
Well,
choices this time again.
was there? I don't know, but I know that not leaving people off of the process, and they actually did file on time, such as 2022. I mean, it's just absolutely egregious.
Oh, it's
And
crazy. It's
yeah,
bad, Michelle. Anyway, I gotta get going, but I will
yeah.
see you
Okay,
back
well,
soon.
yep, sounds good.
Oh, you have one more thing to say? You can go ahead and
No,
say it.
no.
It's
I mean,
fine.
I would only say that it's high time that we stop playing political music chairs here too. Let new people have a stab at trying to have a say and have a voice and some influence on how the city is run. I
New
mean,
people have to run first. New
I
people
mean,
not gonna run. It's just
right. But also, I mean, such as the chief of staff, wouldn't it have been a wonderful thing if she would have announced to the public, I'm interviewing for my chief of staff. If you think you have what it takes to help me
Oh
turn
no! They don't do that. They have to reward the unions and everybody else for
that would
yeah.
have
Yeah, it's
instead,
incest. It's like
you,
Middle Ages. They all fucking each other. It's incestuous. All
but yeah,
right. And they
some of
and just like the Middle Ages, they would their offspring, like in the
mhm,
Middle Ages, the offspring were people. And in politics, the offspring are your policy, and the offspring are just as retarded.
yeah,
Okay.
all
And I
right,
don't use that. I know people get mad when you use the word, but you can say that policy is retarded, and it is. These people are absolutely brain dead. Their policy is the stupidest thing that I've ever seen. But anyway, I do have to go. I don't know what that
okay.
loud bleeping is. What is that bleeping? That you? That was
I
loud.
don't.
Anyway,
Okay,
peace. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Michelle, for joining. And see you guys
bye.
next time. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the Cole lawsuit. Last week, we went to court, Michelle, for Cole. And let me tell you, that judge whipped us a new one. It's really bad. All right. Bye,
How's
pup. Bye bye.
how's she saying bye bye?